There are solutions for transport, commercial refrigeration, both CO2, R290 across the board. We still welcome other contributors to join the project to provide their technologies access to their solutions. And another example is this dedicated training rack for industrial refrigeration that is also demonstrated at the hub. We have off-grid solutions based on solar that they are in high demand. And the hub is not just about the technology that is exhibited there. It's very much about the technology transfer. It's very much about the training. It's very much about the knowledge sharing and really collaborating among all the stakeholder groups. So a number of companies that have this technology expertise are also involved in the hub. We're very thankful also for the companies that are providing different tools and solutions, that materials that are needed for the operation. So again, for those of you that have not yet been at the hub, this is some of the sample of the technologies that you will be able to witness there, touch and see how they run. And please also try the -25°C chamber, so you actually see how the technology performs well in this climate. So this is just a sample of what you will get to see at the hub, and do please visit this afternoon. So an update on the demonstration project. First of all, we have formally announced this in January at our event on 27th. Many of you have been here in the room. We had a number of companies and users and other stakeholders presenting at this event. We have been communicating about this opportunity also throughout last year, so that has not been first time for us to communicate about the opportunity. The idea was always to have an access to the technology and then make that first step. It's really just the first step. The funding, the demonstration projects, they have no match in terms of what the financial institutions can do in terms of the scale. So this is really just the first step to get the first installation in the market, to have more and more awareness about these solutions, and of course, provide some kind of update on the performance. So the technologies that are subject to the funding, to the project, as I mentioned, we have a CO2 transcritical solution for transport, for industrial refrigeration, for retail refrigeration, different sizes provided by different companies across the world. R290 propane, very popular for high ambient temperatures, countries, Southeast Asia, elsewhere in the world. Plug-in systems, solar-powered freezers, transport solutions with propane, R290. So a number of these solutions here. And of course, ammonia is something that we support greatly. We believe that there's a market for all these technologies. They complement each other. Of course, they compete as well in many cases, but competition is necessary. Competition is good. We believe creating the competitive landscape in Philippines when it comes to new technologies is also an important aspect of how we move forward. Efficiency measures, we have also a general category, so we are open to work with companies on general measure when it comes to efficiency measures for their cold chain facility. I will just briefly list the criteria that we have announced in January to everyone. So the evaluation criteria includes legal requirements, the status of the company, established role in the cold chain sector in Philippines, in different sectors, commercial, industrial, transport, logistics, because the capacity to sustain and scale up. We do not want to end with the demo project. That should be just the beginning, right? That should be the kind of risk mitigating first step. Once the company understands the performance of the technology and see how it fits in their operation, we do hope that the plans is to scale up the technology. That's really the whole idea, scaling up. Capacity to provide the cost sharing. We talked about the contribution that is necessary from the beneficiary, but it's very generous grant, the 20% only. So that's actually really good. The question was about the 80%, right? So we are looking at the total cost of the project, including installation. And the cost of the project can be from 10,000 to 100,000. It's just so many different technologies, some of them small scale, some of them massive. When we talked about industrial refrigeration cold storage facilities, some of the projects can be, $500,000, $1 million and more. The scale of these projects are well beyond what we can really support. Commitment to environmental responsiveness, we do look for focus on sustainability and these principles from the companies. So it's always good to understand a little bit more about what's happening. And number 6, again, inclusivity and equality. That's the principle that I think we all stand behind. The call for the end users, as announced in January, was basically we need the end users to assess their cooling needs. We need them to find a match with what technology is fitting into their operation. We need them to, make sure that the technology can be installed in the operation basically within the next few months. That's one of the big constraints, right? The time. Time is very limited. We don't have time until 2024 to extend this indefinitely. The whole project is coming to an end in December. We need these technologies to be installed in the market, ideally August, possibly September, so that we have a few months of monitoring of the performance of these technologies, and we can also discuss about this performance, help increase the awareness about these solutions and how they perform, and of course wrap things up and publish a report that will be disseminated, etc. So the time is one of the big constraints. And of course, get in touch with our team. So we are always open to discuss these options. Number of end users are here in the room, so we have ongoing discussions with a number of stakeholders. Example of companies that we have been engaged with in the last weeks and months, and Frabel, Glacier, Fish Processing, Icebox, Lines. Many of them are here in the room. Again, we are quite open to work with all the end users out there. We understand that the limited timing is not always aligned with the business planning of the big corporation. That's just what it is, right? So we are very open to work with everyone, and we have been approached by a number of companies, number of retail, food chains, industrial logistics companies, etc. So we're having ongoing discussions, and the intention is to submit a number of applications within this month, June. I'm also happy to inform you that we had the first formal submission by Glacier Megafridge, which is one of the leading cold storage companies in the Philippines. As you all know, the potential there was to help mitigate use of HFCs in their operation. You are all experts in the sector, so you will understand that in the close proximity to city, ammonia is being prohibited to be used in cold storage. So they had no other option but to work with HFCs, fairly high GWP, fairly, let's say polluting technology. And this project helps mitigate use of HFCs and going back to, let's say, all the best technology out there with using natural refrigerants, in this case, CO2. So this was the first submitted application for the first CO2 transcritical cold store project in Philippines. This is just a brief schema of the project. It's a 500 pallet cold store facility in Panay. And I'm very happy to say that that project has been approved, as many of you already know. It's the first project that has been approved by the Project Steering Committee at our meeting in April. The timeline of the project is, the system is being prepared and will be shipped to Philippines in July. And we do hope that the system will be installed in early September, so that we have enough time to, again, communicate about the performance, share the results with the industry, and use this as a first milestone for the whole industry in the country to really learn from the experience, to work together, to then tackle the challenges as we go. There is a learning curve when it comes to CO2. It's important for the industry to work together on this first milestone. So we have a number of applications that we are finalizing now with a number of end users as well in the room. You will hear from some of these companies in the panel after lunch. And again, we are in ongoing discussions. It's a moving target. We don't really have a specific deadlines in terms of times and projects because every single application as approved is affecting the timeline availability of the resources for the others. So it's a moving target, but we are proceeding as we go. June will be a critical month for us to have a number of new applications approved. So update on market trends. So just like to put things in perspective here. We talked about sustainable food coaching technologies. We talked about natural refrigerants. What are these? Many of you know, for some this might be a new topic, so I just want to share a few slides that are from a market research project, a report that we have published just a couple of months ago by Atmosphere. The report is free to download. If you are wondering about the policy, about the market trends around the world, it's accessible on our homepage. And it's basically providing update on both policy, market, and latest technology. So I will just share a few slides from these. First of all, CO2 transcritical, right? This technology is fairly new to Philippines. The first installation was at the hub last year, or basically commissioned this January, this year, just a couple months ago. But we have close to 70,000 systems installed in the whole world already. So this thing has started some 15, close to 20 years ago, CO2 transcritical, being used in both retail and industrial refrigeration. So you see that the leading markets here are Europe, followed by Japan, North America. And we will have this new flag on the map of Philippines as well starting this year. In terms of penetration, Europe, well, this is for the retail, right? For the commercial refrigeration, the penetration in Europe is about 18%. So even in Europe, with the most advanced stage, we have a still long way to go. That there's about 15, close to 20 years of experience with CO2 transcritical in Europe. For the new stores, it's becoming one of the standard technology. In Philippines, we are yet to wait for the first CO2 transcritical project in retail, but that's one of the opportunities that we might have this year as well. In US, the penetration in retail, commercial refrigeration CO2 is only 0.7%. Everybody is excited about what's about to happen in US this year, next year onwards. Basically, US is going to experience extremely high growth. That's expected. A lot of the European leaders are joining the market this year, and we believe US will be the fastest growing market for the CO2 for retail. Japan, mostly convenience stores, and has been very popular, more than 6,000 stores using CO2 transcritical in Japan. This is the growth. So you see that the growth is accelerating for these technologies. And I think this is actually why this project is so exciting, because we are able to accelerate the developments in Philippines to really start catching up with the world. Without this project, it would probably take several more years for the industry to really kind of start looking into these solutions. So Europe is growing really fast. America, even faster. The light blue is industrial, so the growth in industrial cold storage facilities is quite fast. But retail is, of course, having large volume. This is where it started first. In Japan, the orange is retail, mostly convenience stores. The industrial is picking up very quickly. You see that it basically started in 2020. Nowadays, we have some close to 1,000 facilities or units installed across some 500 projects. Ammonia, low charge. We talked about ammonia. There's different kinds of ammonia solutions out there. What we refer to as low charge is the new generation high energy efficiency low charge systems that basically could be cascade, could be secondary, could be direct expansion ammonia. It's not the liquid overfeed as we know mostly from the rest of the world, Southeast Asia, China, etc. So the number of low charge ammonia systems is also growing quite fast. This is an example from Europe. Another example from US, number of suppliers, both Europe and US are quite active in that front. And there's also, some of these leading companies are present in the Philippines. So the opportunity here for ammonia to really go to the next stage is also quite large. There will be a sample of these market trends. Again, if you are interested to read more about what's happening around the world, please go and check the report. And I'm available here if there's any questions for my presentation. Thank you. We have about 10-15 minutes. If there are any questions, or if you are guys all ready for lunch, we can just as well go. But any questions from the floor? Please, can you have a mic, please? Thank you.
You presented two natural refrigerants, CO2 and ammonia. Is that correct?
So the main three solutions are CO2, ammonia, and propane, hydrocarbons. So
what
propane.
are the advantages and disadvantages?
Very good question. So they are usually serving different markets. Propane is very much common in very small plug-in systems. Propane, isobutane is common in your domestic fridge, in your small freezer. Propane is also now being used in chillers. That's a new trend in Europe. CO2 has been quite common in the small commercial refrigeration systems. They are very common in heat pumps. In Japan, there's more than 8 million CO2 heat pumps. CO2 has come through the evolution from a small system to large racks, and now, last couple of years, has entered the industrial. Ammonia is coming from the large cold storage facilities, food processing, but nowadays this system is being sized down, and you have ammonia chillers for air conditioning, you have smaller systems as well. So they have their particularities. Sometimes they compete, sometimes they complement each other. They have different challenges and different, price benefits. The system of the design and the design of the system is different. So it's there's not one solution that fits all. Sometimes they overlap, sometimes they complement each other, sometimes they compete. It's not really a easy answer of how they what's the benefits, or you would have to kind of study all their features and then see how this is matching your need in terms of the food coaching solution. There's the materials I can share with you later in terms of there's a number of experts here as well who can provide you the answer on that, on a more technical level. Yes, please.
Good morning. May I ask what kind of assistance, technical assistance, that you can extend to some ESCOs for studying an existing refrigeration system of ammonia, converting it into a natural source of refrigerant?
So ammonia is also a natural refrigerant, just to
Okay.
Can you maybe rephrase the question? You were looking into comparison between a traditional ammonia and some of the alternative.
Yes,
CO2.
alternative, yeah. What kind of technical assistance do you extend to those companies that wish to convert into a more efficient refrigeration system?
You mentioned, end users looking into that? Okay. I mean, we as a hub, we invite everyone to visit the facility where we basically provide the connection between the suppliers, the contractors, and the industry, right? Our team, we do not have the technical expertise to provide that assistance. However, the hub is a meeting place. If there is an end user interested in ammonia technology, CO2 technology, then we can easily connect them with the contractors and the suppliers who have this technical expertise. So the hub is the meeting place for these people to interact. And if you haven't been there, I would please also invite you to join us this afternoon. And that's where you get to meet the contractors and consultants and supplier component manufacturers who have the expertise. This afternoon, we will have some of the technical presentations as well. So these are the experts on the technology that you can, connect with and provide. Please, Laurie.
Yeah, very quick question yan. Are there locally available technical experts for each of the technologies exhibited at the hub?
Okay. I would say not 100%, but we're getting there. So the CO2 transcritical is a fairly new thing for the Philippines. Everyone is in the beginning of the learning curve. Just 6 months ago, we could not even say that we have a CO2 transcritical system operational in the Philippines. Now we can. Now we have one installation done. The manufacturer of the system from Japan has already provided the training of the local contractor that can handle the installation. So we are on that learning curve, right? When it comes to ammonia, ammonia has been around for many years. There's a number of experts here in the room. When it comes to the more advanced systems on ammonia, again, companies that are leading this sector around the world, they have their business partners locally, they send their experts, etc. So I believe for each, when there is demand for particular knowledge, we can provide a contact to kind of satisfy the technology. When it comes to R290, it's quite common as well. We have organized a number of trainings on handling. Manny is our expert on R290, so he can provide the context as well. I would say we are very close to being able to cover that capacity. CO2, I would say, is the newest. That's why there is so much interest. And again, number of companies present in Philippines, their head offices are involved in the sector for the last 20 years. They have thousands of installations, so they have the capacity to provide this. Maybe not yet fully available in the Philippines, but the link between the head office that has been involved in the CO2 the last 20 years is of course there. So I think that's what we want to enable with the project. this technology transfer when it comes to head offices in Europe and America and Japan to Philippines. So this is kind of work in progress, and we are, I think, on the right track. Maybe one more question before the lunch is served. Anyone? Lunch it is? All right. Well, thank you very much for your attention, and we'll see you in the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dusek. That caps our morning discussion. But in the afternoon, we will be hearing from the end users themselves how this technology, how these projects fit in their current business models and operation. Before that, we will take a lunch break. Our session will resume at 1 p.m. So thank you, have a good lunch, and see you later.